Pulling a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is Rift Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
And good evening, travelers and those alike. Welcome to the Orion Effect. Oh, look, we're split. It was split. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. How about you?
You know, I'm holding in there. I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
A little bit, but a whole lot of good. There's some blinging going on. I don't know where that's coming from, but actually I do. Let's shut that down for a minute and come back. So welcome everyone to the second edition right here on the new platform of the Orion Effect. I am the Hitman Howie Odell.
And I am Rhonda Harris Dowdy.
Your little ray.
Your little ray of spiritual sunshine with a splash of sarcasm.
I love that.
I forgot who I was for a moment.
You do that. That's my job. We have a wonderful show for you tonight. We're going to kick this off in just a second. First of all, there's a lot of great events taking place, so make sure that you get involved. And Rhonda, I want you to talk about one special event, and let's get a plug out that right now at the beginning of the show.
Yes, there is a event on April the 29th. It will be the very first paranormal investigation at the Hamilton High School in Cartersville, Virginia. It is hosted by FPRI and Friends Covert Paranormal and Middletown Paranormal. So it is the first time there will be a paranormal event in that location. So we're really excited, and it's already sold out. But there will be many more events, I am sure, out there, not just paranormal. So we'll have lots and lots of events out there, hopefully. So we're excited.
There you go. And tonight, we're really excited.
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking with the people, the promoters of that, and we'll see what happens with that. This may even get a little bigger for all of you. We'll see. Who knows? But on that, we also are dealing with a huge event coming up, and it's why we're doing the show tonight, right?
That's right. It's not. It seems like June is far off, but it's not. Well, blink and it'll be here. So, and not only is it a cool event, it's for an amazing cause.
Hey, what is that cause? What's going on with that, Ron?
Well, it's really for assisting domestic violence survivors. We're looking to, I think the whole event is to bring awareness to that issue, but also to raise money for a local shelter here in the Tri-Cities area, if you will. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I'm about to do something here real quick because I can see people are jumping on from Facebook, and you guys are on Facebook. You need to see this link. So give me just a second. I'm going to go grab the link so you guys can be seen and we know who you are. Let me do that real quick for everybody.
Yep. And how he does that, what it is since we've just started using Restream, you have to click this link and accept that you're okay with your name being seen for us, because right now, Kim Maddox and Judy Atkins, I can see you on, because I've got Facebook up on another monitor. But when we're in Restream, we see you as Facebook user, and there would be a whole lot of Facebook users if you all don't click the link. So he's sending out this link. Click the link. Just say, I accept to be part of Restream. And we'll be able to see from our comments who all is interacting with us tonight.
That's right. And for example, we'll be able to show you what you would say, what the travelers would say, and anybody on Facebook and other locations right here. And you'll see where it says evening. I know who that is. That's Kimmy. But we want to make sure that everybody's seen. So we'll just switches over. The chat room is good to go. So I'm excited. Now, this is also a special night because not only are we, if you will, not only are we talking about the special event put on by Boo Bitches tonight, not only are we talking about abuse, but there's positive coming out of tonight. And in fact, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring on Miss Gwen Luckett. There
Hi.
she is.
Hello,
Miss-
Hello.
And before we get started, if I may, Rhonda, may I?
You may.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, allow me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, a technical difficulty. I can't hear you.
Happy birthday, dear Gwen. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. I'm so glad that you were able to come on to share this. Not only is Gwen here as a guest, but she's also a traveler. So she got sniffgated this week, and we shared her birthday today. And this is the perfect opportunity. She is on the show, so we get to say happy birthday to a traveler face to face.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Absolutely.
It's actually a happy accident that I end up being off because my work schedule, I'm typically working Sunday through Wednesday. But because of a medical reason, I was taken out of work until Thursday. So I just happened to be off today.
See?
Yeah.
Divine intervention.
I was about to say, everything happens for a reason.
For a reason. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So, for those who are watching in, and let's reiterate, if you're checking in from Facebook, please follow the link that says https://chat.restream.io/FB. You're allowing yourself to be seen through Facebook. That's what it is. So I want to make sure everybody understood that too. I want to follow up with which Rhonda said. And once you click that, we can see your name. So we wanted to say, oh, Rhonda's best friend's on. Look at that.
We've got several people on. Tracy Ann has joined us. We've got Kim Sage, Kim Maddox, and Judy Atkins.
Well, oh, Mama Judy in the house.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yay. It's turning into a beautiful show, if I may say so myself.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
So let's jump right into the soup of the day. No pun intended. Don't forget, 12 o'clock tonight, get your cup of soup with Jason Bland and the crew over at Midlands Paranormal tonight at 12 o'clock with Paranormal Soup. Giving that plug. So, saying that, let's jump into it. What are we looking at, Gwen? What are we heading into June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? We want to talk about it. Let's get the meat. Let's let people know, and how can they donate if they can't be there?
Well, first off, if you want to donate and you can't be there, Boo Bitches does have a Facebook page. It's Boo Bitches in support of domestic violence survivors. I cannot talk. I'm so sorry. But yeah, even if you don't know, or if you haven't been a member of the page, if you just type in your search bar, Boo Bitches, it'll pop right up. You can go on there. You can shoot us a message if you don't know what to do or anything like that. I believe last year what we did was we posted a link if people want to make donations and all of that. I'm not quite sure because I've been trying to catch up with everything else this past few days. I'm not too sure if that's been done yet or not. If it has not, it will be shortly. But if you have questions, you can feel free to, message that account, or you can message me or, Tracy Ann, and we'll be more than happy to help you with that. There's several events that are planned throughout the days. We'll have like a basic, when if people come in, they decide to come in on Friday, basic meet and greet and all that good stuff, kind of, share each other's stories and all that, we're keeping it as calm and as just as level as we can be. There's nobody's experienced or loved one whose their story might have more trauma, but nobody outweighs anybody. It's not a competition. Okay. It's not a competition. Domestic violence is just that, and it affects everybody. It affects men. It affects women. It affects children. When I'll start. Oh, hi.
No, I'm not dealing with that.
Hello.
Hey,
So,
Ryan.
it does.
Sorry about that.
Well, we know you're sorry. Now apologize.
That look, that was classic. What?
Well, I got stuff going on over here at the same time, so just trying to
You're
focus.
fine, Ryan. You know we love you. But we talking about the whole domestic violence thing. Several years ago, over my course of work history, I worked as a EMT, a firefighter. I also worked as a law enforcement officer, as a police officer for a while. And the one thing that I noticed that every single domestic case had in common was fear. And when I say fear, I don't mean fear as in general abuse of being hit or being locked out the house or anything like that. Fear comes in many forms. There's financial, there's emotional, there's mental, there's physical. If I don't do what they say, they're going to hurt my kids, or they're going to hurt my elderly mom, or they're going to make me lose my job, or, if I report them and they get arrested, how are we going to pay the rent? There's so many forms of fear, and it kills me when I hear people say, well, why they keep going back to them? Have you ever been in this situation? Have you worked with these people they're going through this? Because I have. And I can assure you, it is not the easiest thing for somebody just to leave. As a matter of fact, the most dangerous time to get out of a domestic violent relationship is when you're trying to leave. That is the most dangerous time. So it is crucial that there are resources such as the shelter that we just, that we end up donating to. It is crucial that we have the resources to be able to help. That we're able to help these resources is what I'm trying to say, so that they're able to help these people and educate them and help them get job training or whatever it is that they may need. You have people that they literally have nowhere to turn. They don't even have family, or their friends are so tired of hearing about it, they just wash their hands of it. I mean, all of these are scenarios that I have realistically dealt with. As a police officer, I've even responded to calls where the vehicle or the house was set on fire with the then victim still inside. Okay. So it's mind blown how and what these people go through and how they try to overcome it. So for them to even ask for help is huge.
Right.
It's huge.
Now, I'm glad you're bringing that out, because we always hear from the survivor's side or the victim side. We don't hear from the first responder side. How about that? So here we are. We're hearing from the first responders' point of view. And we're sometimes, as people outside of that situation, feel helpless for them. But you know what? I'm glad you brought something up. I'm glad you brought up the fact that people say, why didn't you just get out? So and that's part of the psychological abuse part. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Most of the aggressors, not justifying what they do. So please don't confuse that with what I'm about to say. In my experience, most of the aggressors didn't have it easy either. Doesn't make it right. So when you're faced with a situation where you have an aggressor and at the time they're being categorized as a victim, when you have them going through this, and it's happening over and or it escalates, and it just keeps happening and happening. As the victim during that moment, it is most crucial that you decide to break that cycle.
Right.
A lot of people, especially in the rural areas, because I was born and raised in rural areas, I worked all of my firefighter and EMS in rural areas, and there's this idea, oh, we should try to work it out for the children. Worst thing you can do. It starts off with a shove or name calling. Next thing you know, you're jacked up against the wall. Next thing you know, you got a busted lip. Next thing you know, you're making excuses for whoever is doing this to you. Next thing you know, my crew is showing up, and all we can do is put you in a body bag and put a toe tag on you.
Right.
And that's the reality of it. Some people are like, oh, that's so brutal. That's the reality of it. If that's what it takes is for someone like me or somebody else to scare the crap out of you, to make you realize it's not going to get any better. And if you have children or loved ones in the same house, this is the only way you're going to break the cycle. If me sitting here and just telling you straight up what's going to happen, I'll do that. If
Right.
that's what it takes for people to ask for help.
And that's why we're doing this event June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yeah,
Right.
Tracy posted in there that if you just want to donate, because it's not just about this event, it's about the fact that the money is needed by these shelters. These people, these ladies, these men, anybody who goes to a shelter comes with usually the clothes on their back, and that's it. Kim Maddox writes, I used my children as a shield. And then Tracy said, our events not only allow for fun of an investigation at the cabin on 360, but also just a support network to survivors to see that they are not alone. The time around the bonfire telling our stories is incredibly healing.
It is.
And so we have that happening, but then again, it's being put on at a special location as far as around the Citronelle, Richmond area, Central Virginia. Ryan C. Jones is right there, curator of the cabin on 360. And Ryan, what part are y'all playing? How is this building up, and especially for the cabin?
Well, I mean, we're supplying the location, and then Dennis and I will be there Friday night and Saturday to help, with the history and help with the investigations and stuff like that. Whatever they need us to do, we will help out as much as we can.
Right. So here we are. We're building an amazing event for June for a great cause. Proceeds are going to a local shelter in the area. And this should be an exciting thing because it's also about survivors. It's not just about, I don't want to put it like that because the wording I was getting ready to use may have been a little offset. We're celebrating the fact that people have grown and able, but we're also giving the opportunity for people, women, to find a way out of that situation. And that's what this is about: supporting each other, giving support to women in a very bad place, and celebrating survivors. Would y'all agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Also,
I think it's.
go ahead.
I think it's. Sorry, I just think it is a great cause, and it is from what they experienced last year. I think it brought like a sense of togetherness. I think people, when they left there, they felt like they made friends, and hopefully they were, they kept in touch with each other. I don't know, but what I saw from when I was there, it seemed like it was just a good time of just fellowship and community, and which is what we try to do every time we have an investigation at the cabin on 360. So if you want to come and you have been through all this, just know that you're not you're in good hands. You're with good people, and we care about you, and we want to make sure that you have a great time. And even if you haven't been in a domestic abuse, we still would love to have you, because we want to make sure we get as much money to the shelter as possible. So we want to get as many people out to the cabin as possible, so we can raise as much money as we can to help whatever shelter they decide to give the money to. So yeah, man, that's basically why we're doing this.
I want to
Well,
touch on also what Ron was just talking about. Even if you weren't a victim of such violence, perhaps maybe you know somebody who had been, and you want to show your support by being involved in something like this. We had a mixed crowd last year. We had people that were survivors. We had people that never went through anything like that, but they may have known a loved one. If you've even known a loved one, if they didn't make it through, if they end up succumbing to their aggressor, first off, my condolences. It's a terrible thing to go through. But you can always, if you can't make the event, make a donation in your loved one's name and their memory. That's another angle, that you can take this, and say, well, I'm not able to make it, but can you take 10 or 15 bucks in the name of my sister or my aunt or my uncle or whomever. But we can't assume that domestic violence affects only one gender or only one denominator or a certain class of people. I know cases that I worked, and it was people that you would least expect, that I was getting called to their house, and it blew me away, and it really opened my eyes as a police officer to not put anything past anybody. I mean, you never know. Your coworker in the cubicle next to you could be going through their personal hell every time they go home, but they're the happiest person at work. You never know. So if you want to make a donation in memory or in honor of somebody, that's something else you can do too.
One of the main reasons we started going out to the cabin on 360 was because of a young girl named Melissa Elliott, who was a victim of domestic violence, but not from a spouse, but from her older brother. So every time we go out there, every time we have an investigation, we go out there, we honor her memory. So this investigation, this Boo Betches event, is just another way for us to honor the memory of her. And you're talking about, Gwen, about you don't expect, you see people, you don't expect them to have that problem, or you don't know what they have going on at home.
Right.
Melissa's friends were the same way. Just one day she didn't come to school, and it's like the teachers knew something was going on. But they know for sure, but they were really worried about her until they actually got the word that finally she had passed, or finally he went too far. Now, I don't know what happened before that day she was killed. But still the end result is the same. One day of domestic violence is just as bad as 200 days. It's still terrible.
yeah.
And
I'm glad you brought that up, Ryan, because here's the link. People were going, well, what's the link with the cabin to anything of this? Because of that history right there. Linking this great event to a history of 30, 40 years ago that took place and why it happened. So this all is really interlinking for purpose. I think that's amazing.
I think that's another good point, Ryan, is that domestic violence comes in all shapes and forms. It's not always boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse. It can be father on child, mother on child, child on parent. It could be any shape or form.
In the last 20 years, we've seen a rise of children abusing their parents. Okay, this is unfortunately a true fact. We're not going to talk about parenting. We're not going to get into any of that. But the fact is, get it be from the simple physical to murder. Because there's many cases, unfortunately, where children have murdered their parents because of abuse. They want the control. And it's something, Gwen, you pulled up. You said control. It's all about control when it comes to
control.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I have a family member. I did mention it when I released my book the first time. It's under revisions now. It'll be re-released later. But talking about dealing with personal demons and stuff like that, I had a family member, and I didn't divulge a whole lot then. I'm not going to do it now because it's their story to tell. Right. It's not mine. But this loved one, when they came to me and told me what was going on and how long it had been going on, my first reaction was, okay. And then I think I asked her something along the line of, I'm not doubting you, but is everything you're telling me the truth? Because if it is, we need to go and notify the police.
Right.
And this is something that can put somebody away for a very long time with what he was doing.
Exactly.
She told me yes, because you have people out there making false claims. And for those that do, don't ever let me find out you made a false claim. Don't do that. Because what this individual, what my loved one had to go through was 16 to 18 months, I think it was, after the arrest of the person. 16 to 18 months of hell. Started with therapy, suicidal thoughts, all sorts of stuff. In the end, the individual was found guilty. The stuff they found on his computer, they hadn't even finished going through yet. He took a plea, and he ended up getting basically roughly the rest of his life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed on the prosecutor, on the Commonwealth attorney. It probably helps that the Commonwealth attorney worked with me when I was a police officer. So when he saw me come in his office that day, he was like, I just put two and two together. He goes, I'm so sorry. And I was like, don't give me apologies. Don't give me excuses. If you need to make an example out of him, that's what you do. Because what he did was uncalled for. I got to do a witness impact, a victim impact, basically on the behalf of the individual because they were a minor. And I straight up told the court, you worry about who lives next door. You worry about the boys at school. But you don't worry about the people that are supposed to be taking care of them and loving them and looking out for them for their best interest. So again, it's the people you least expect. And I knew better, but I never thought, not in a million years, I was wrong. And that's still a hard pill for me to swallow to this day.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people that have either been the abuser or abusee, and there are people that have been the abuser and went, what did I do? They learned. Maybe it's because over a period of time they got beat down. They saw their own patterns. But the abusee, okay, it creates a PTSD, and then you get help, and then you're like, wow, you can see signs. You can see it in others now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a growing thing. We're going, holy, did I really go through all that? But on the flip side, you have someone who's going, did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's good that the person learned or was able to grow from it or experience it from it or realize what they had done.
Right.
that's not going to help the abusee. You know what would help the abusee? If that person who learned was able to step up to the abuser would step up to the abuser and go, I'm sorry for what I did to you. But that takes a lot of internal strength for someone to say, sorry.
It does. It does. And for this particular family member, the night that I was taking them to the police department, because I didn't want to call it in because where we were living at, everybody had scanners.
Right.
I didn't want our address to go across. I mean, I did this for years, so I know.
Right.
And I was like, well, we have to take you back to the jurisdiction that it happened in anyway. So got them over there. And on the ride over there, I told them, you told me all I needed to know. You don't need to tell me anything else, but you're going to be questioned by a few people. You need to be honest. Don't hold anything back. If you had issues with anybody else in the family, including me, you need to tell them. You need to tell them. You need to use your voice. And I also told this individual, because this individual started to feel guilty on the way to the police department because he was going to get in trouble. I said, no, darling. No. If anybody's done this, they've done this to themselves.
And that's part of the mental breakdown.
Exactly. And I also told them as we were pulling up to the police department, and this is why I'm so glad that we changed it from victims to survivors. Because when that was suggested, this particular conversation came immediately rushing to my head. As we were pulling up to the police department, I told this individual a lot, it's a small town. People are going to talk. People are going to put two and two together. They're not going to release your name because you're a minor, but people are going to realize he's locked up and they're going to put two and two together. But know this, right now, you are a victim. You are. Eventually, when you're ready, you're going to come to a fork in the road. One path is victim. The other path is survivor. When you choose survivor, this SOB no longer has any control over you at all. You can advocate. You can share your stories. You continue to grow and thrive in spite of him.
That's right. Or her, but we're talking, we're talking about him, but we want to make sure, because it was said earlier, men are welcome to this event.
No, I was just talking about the particular conversation I had with this person. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's what we need to open that mind and hear from more police officers, more first responders. I think, Rhonda, this may be something that I may want to stretch out because this could go really well, but it also giving a voice. This is what this network is about, giving a voice. And if we as a network can help grow this idea, then that's a goal. Talk to more first responders about this, rescue squad, firemen, you name it. And
you'll be surprised what you will hear, because we run the calls and that's it. We don't really talk about it unless it was like what we call a bad call. We might have a debriefing, which we had a couple of those. But the reality is, I think if more people were to know the inside, and from our perspective, and I say our as in people who have got the work history like I do. I mean, I even worked for a medical examiner.
Right.
Saw some cases on his slab that were the end result of domestic violence. And it was brutal. There were times I went home crying. Because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do,
What can you do?
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? But I tell you what we can do now. We can talk about it and let people know it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care about your class, your race. It doesn't care. Domestic violence is just that. It's domestic violence, and it's got to halt. It's got to stop, because if you notice with a lot of families, it's a cycle.
This is true, but what you just said, a magic word, and I want everybody to listen to that word. It's the same thing as you use in domestic sexual abuse. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's a powerful word. And I know some people are like, it never works. It may not work, but it's a deterrent. It extends the time. It pushes it away. It gets that person. Sometimes it does stop because sociologically speaking, that's a powerful word. If somebody hears just the simple word, stop, it gives that person some time to think, and they're like, hey, what do I need to stop about? What am I doing? What am I?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want people to be aware of that. Stop and no.
Yeah.
We don't say no enough. If y'all don't mind, I want to read the 6 different types. Let's talk about it, and then let's really focus on the cabin in this special event. How to sound good?
Yes.
Let's do that real quick. I want to talk about the physical real quick. Physical. This is a type of abuse that many people think of when they hear the word abuse. It can include punching, hitting, slapping, kicking, struggling, strangling, or physical restraining a partner against the wall, in a bathtub, in a closet, in the kitchen. Even putting your arms on either side is our type of restraint. It can also include driving recklessly or evading someone's physical space, and in any other way making someone feel physically unsafe. These are definitions by Straight. Sexual. Why sexual abuse can be a form of physical abuse, we put it in a category by itself because it can include both physical and non-physical components. It can involve rape or other forced sexual acts, or withholding or using sex as a weapon. Did y'all hear what I just said? This is interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Withholding or using sex as a weapon. An abusive partner might also use sex as a means to judge their partner and assign a value. In other words, criticizing or saying that someone isn't good enough at sex, or that sex is the one thing they're good for, because sex can be so loaded with emotional and cultural impact. Whoop, there you go. Verbal and emotional. Number 3, as one of the survivors puts it, quote, my ex-husband used words like weapons, like shards of glass, cutting and slowly draining my life until I had nearly nothing left. I don't think I was abused because he didn't hit me. Usually, I had begun to believe his awful lies, how worthless I was, how stupid, how ugly, how no one would ever want me, unquote. Other survivors pointed out that while the signs of physical abuse may be noticeably to a family member, the effects of a verbal emotional abuse are harder to spot and harder to prove. Emotional scars can often take longer to heal. And we've heard that before. Number 4 is the mental and psychological. Mental or psychological abuse happens when the one partner, through a series of actions or words, wears away at the other's sense of mental well-being and health. It often involves making a victim doubt their own sanity. We've heard stories of abusers deliberately moving car keys, and in one case, the car, or a purse, dimming the lights, and he flat out denying that these certain things had taken place. The result of this, especially over a sustained period of time, and often with the isolation that abusers also tend to use, is that the victim depends on the abuser more and more because they don't trust their own judgment. Financial. Oh, this is interesting. We're at number 5. Because abuse is about power and control, an abuser will use any means necessary to maintain that control. And often that includes finances. Whether it is controlling all of the budgeting in the household and not letting the survivor have access to their own bank accounts or spending money, or opening credit cards and running up debt in the survivor's name, or simply not letting the survivor have a job and earn their own money. This type of abuse is often a big reason why someone is unable to leave an abusive relationship. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
And number 6, cultural abuse. Cultural identity abuse happens when the abusers use aspects of the victim's particular cultural identity to inflict suffering. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Or as a means of control. Not letting someone observe their dietary or dress customs of their faith, using racial slurs, threatening to out someone in LGBT, etc., if their friends or family don't know, or isolating someone who doesn't speak the dominant language where they live. All of these are examples of cultural abuse. Wow. So we wanted to make sure we gave that.
Yeah.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, I find it interesting when you were talking about them trying to hide the car keys, to keep the one that's being abused from leaving or whatever.
Mm.
That's actually considered kidnapping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because when you were talking about that, I was sitting here thinking about a case that I had worked. The guy had been arrested several times. Of course, the domestic violence laws have come a long way,
Right.
but they're not exactly where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a call one night. We show up. I think her was a 9 or 10-year-old kid called 911. And all the operator could hear was screaming and all in the background. We show up, knock on the door. She just cracks the door open and she sees me. And I've already worked with her before. And she was like, "Oh, hi." And I went, "Are you okay?" And she just looked at me and she looked mortified. Like she just was scared to move.
Mm.
And I was like, "We got a call that, something might be wrong. Is it okay if I come in?" No. I can't let you do that. And I was like, "Well, can you come out and talk with me?" She goes to take a step and I could tell somebody was yanking her back. And I was like, whoever's grabbing on her, I need you to let her go because I need to talk to her. You don't need to talk to anybody. That's why I took her keys, because she don't need to be going nowhere. I said, "Oh, you did what?"
Yeah.
That's all I needed. I didn't need a search warrant. That door came open. He went on the ground. Cuffs went on.
That gave you probable cause right there. Right?
Yep. He said, "What do you arrest me for?" I said, "Self-admission, bro. I didn't even have to read you your rights. You just voluntarily told me that you kidnapped your wife."
Yeah.
I did not. I said, "Refraining from free movement. That is kidnapping." I said, "So guess what? You're going with me." He finally went away with time over his head.
Oh,
He
wow.
he got 10 years. By the time everything went to court, it had been like a year and a half, 2 years. So he had that served, but it was plenty of time to get her to the proper resources and get her the heck out of Dodge.
Right.
Her and her kid. And the last I heard, her kid actually joined the military and was doing very well.
There it is. He saw, or she saw a situation and they were going to change. They were going to break the chain.
Yep. She finally decided, when I got a hold to her, after we took care of him, we had a caseworker meet with me back at the house. She, was all to pieces. She didn't know what she was going to do. She didn't have any family, this, that, and the other. What family she did have pretty much disowned her, pretty much, because she was with him. So I was like, "Hey, we got plenty of time to get you straight, because he ain't coming back tonight."
Right.
Okay. He is not coming back. So we worked with her. She got some job training and all of that. And next thing I knew, because kids grow so fast. Next thing I knew, her kid was graduating with honors and was going into the military.
That's beautiful.
I was like, wow. And people are like, wow, you did such a good. I'm like, I didn't do anything. She did it.
Right.
I just gave her an out. And
You
that's all these people need is they need a secure
a,
way out.
a little empowerment goes a long
Yeah,
way. Ladies and
exactly.
gentlemen, please, if you or a friend or a family is in need and you just need to find that way, please call 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. That is the abuse hotline. Call there, get the ball rolling, find out what can happen, how can they help you get out of a situation you're in if you feel like you're in a situation. I just want to make sure we went over that. So it's we know what we're heading for, and I want to make sure we get this all in. Um, and we've got some really great things going on for that special weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ryan, you said you and Dennis are going to be on site, right?
Mm.
What are you excited about this weekend about?
I mean, I always enjoy having people come out to the cabin, meeting new people, or seeing old people. We enjoy having everybody come out. I'm excited for the seance that they're going to be doing on Friday
Yes.
night. That's going to be fun. Um, actually using the fire pit, that'd be nice. That's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the drum circle, and because I haven't experienced that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much anything we have going on. The investigation are always fun,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have someone who hasn't been on an investigation or has only seen the TV shows.
Exactly.
It's like you don't know it's for real until it actually happens to you. And I could watch Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures all day, and I can watch them experience stuff on television, but you always have that doubt, like, oh well, they probably, they could fake it.
Mm-hmm.
We really have we're not there. We don't have control of what they're doing. But when we have someone come out to the cabin and you put a voice recorder and you hear a voice, and the people know that it was not any of the group that we were with, and it kind of a light goes off, and there's like, holy crap, this is actually real. And they're like, well, welcome to our world. It opens up a whole new level of understanding about what is out there, what could be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cabin will not disappoint people. I've been there a few times. It will not disappoint. Even if you don't get a capture, if you will, you can feel the energy.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel the energy there. And that right there, just having that experience of being there where the others have come before us and sharing stories and stuff, about previous trips there from us that have been there, sharing our stories with you. Just the experience of being there, the energy, you will feel it.
And I think we need to really harp on the point that this is going to be an event of joy, of togetherness. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a safe place, a place where people can just have fun. And if you don't want to investigate, if you're like, oh man, I don't feel comfortable going some places, just hang out by the fire. There'll be people there that you can talk to, or you can just hang out by the fire, and it's just, you don't have to investigate if you don't want to, I guess.
Yeah, it's about finding your place.
Yeah.
Yep.
The word that keeps coming to my mind right now is communion.
Mm-hmm.
That's being, it's about bringing people together in a safe location for them to feel safe and secure and being able to talk and understand that there's people that are there to either help, support, guide, put in, to even just be an ear to listen to.
Exactly. And it's going to be a really good group of people, y'all. For those of you who don't know, everybody you see on the screen is going to be there. We'll have Dennis there. Tracy Ann's going to be there. Holly, Dallas. It's going to be phenomenal. You're going to be surrounded by really good energy. And we had some people that were a little timid last year because of their experiences going to something like this, domestic violence speaking. But I think it's safe to say about halfway in, you could tell their stress levels were coming down. They were relaxing. They were laughing. They were sharing their stories. We would have tears because we were laughing. We would have tears because we were sharing stories. But overall, it was a tremendous experience, and it's for a phenomenal cause.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. This is about awareness, raising a bunch of money. It doesn't matter if you're male,
Nope.
female, come out, hang out with a bunch of like-minded people, paranormal investigate if you never have, sit around a bonfire if you just feel like some downtime. Like, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Exactly. And I want to make sure we get this in there. If you're interested and you haven't already, please go to Facebook. You can go to everbright.com, go to the Boo Bitches Paranormal Supports Victims of Domestic Violence, or you can come over to the page who Gwen has done an amazing job on. Bravo, Gwen. I want to make sure you get props for that, my dear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The banners have been amazing. The people there communicating. There's a huge community being built. Also, I want to make sure you go to Everbright. You can go to Everbright and go to a very similar link, and there'll be a link there for donations for the event or donations to the sheltering of their choice of wherever this is decided. And like we all said, we're going to be there. We want to see you. We want to see you there.
Yep. We want everybody to come to the cabin. But let's say this. If you don't live in the Virginia area or have no way to get here, find your local shelter, donate to them, send them money. They also will take clothes donations for people because, a lot of times clothes off their back. They're trying to get back in the workforce, help them donate like work clothes. I know that we used to, as a team, when my team at work, we used to travel all the time. We made it a point to save all of the soaps and shampoos and body washes and everything from the hotels. And then we all kept them, gave them to my boss at the end of the year. And she took all of them to a local shelter just for soaps and shampoo and things like
that's
that.
a great idea, Rhonda. I'm going to challenge everybody. Bring something along with your payment if you're interested. If you want to bring something like Rhonda just brought up, if you want to bring it that weekend or that Saturday night or that Friday night, bring it to the cabin, a thing of shampoo, anything of traveling, anything of what Rhonda just said, bring it, drop it in, and let's donate even that, because maybe it's not just money. Let's help support. And we'll make sure, one of us will make sure that it gets to that shelter. I think that's a brilliant idea. Look at you, Rhonda. Sparkles. What do you think, Ryan?
Class student.
Yeah, I think every little bit helps with everything. Like you said, it's not just about the money. People need stuff like shampoo, soap, deodorant, stuff that makes them feel good about themselves.
Exactly.
Maybe they don't have, they're going through whatever they're going through, and they've had chance to have a good shower. People don't understand how much that can help someone feel human again. And plus these shelters, they depend on our help with community help to function. So whatever we can give to them to help, like whether it be a bar of soap, a bottle of shampoo, or whatever, every little bit will help to, make the process easier for those who are going through it, who are going to the shelter.
Yeah, because it's not,
And don't forget, y'all. For the ones that are planning on coming, we're also going to have raffles. We're going to have all sorts of stuff that you can raffle. I'm going to be putting together a gift basket thing, and the theme of my raffle thing, the theme of yeah, thing, the theme of my raffle is going to be tools of the trade. So, being a paranormal investigator, I'm going to have things in there that would be associated with tools of the trade. I already have a pendulum. I'm going to have like incense, oils, candles, stuff like that in there. And I'll even have like a little card in there. So if you win it and you don't know what to do with the stuff in it, I'll have a little instruction card, or you can win it and you can gift it to somebody that you'll know would really like to have it. And it has the instruction card in there of everything that's in there and how to use it.
That's a good point. Any of our local friends that are watching, if you want to build a basket and donate it to us to raffle off, we'd be happy to take it. Happy to take it and raffle it off. You know, if it's full of your paranormal swag, or if you just want to build something of your own, that would be.
If anybody makes homemade soaps or lotions and stuff like that, you know, the girly stuff, you know, we love that stuff. So yeah.
And guess what else may be raffled off? Not maybe. The first of the line of my top hats. One of Howie's original top hats, the Mad Hatter of Virginia, is donating one of the special hats for raffles that weekend. So you can't get it unless you're there to raffle it off.
Sweet.
See what that is? That was a little special thing we got going on. Yep. One of the Mad Hatters of Virginia's top hats will be raffled that weekend. I'm excited.
I need to bring cash.
Bring cash. I want one of those. Well, hi. But I think, you know, we're coming up close to the end, and I want to say, first of all, thank you to Ryan and Dennis.
Yes.
Everybody owes this to Ryan and Dennis for giving a location, and such a magnificent location with the history connected to even this subject.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to Tracy Ann and Gwen for this magnificent creation of this event, and for Dallas and Holly Mullins to put in their time to be there. And
Absolutely.
To my partner in crime and myself, we are going to be there in attendance. This is a perfect opportunity. Come on out. There's no reason not to. I know there's some special people that'll be, they want to wait till just a few minutes. Don't wait. Go ahead and get your ticket now. Go to everbright.com. Check out the Boo Bitches Paranormal Special Event. I'm going to read that to you one more time, and you can find it on Facebook as well. It is the Boo Bitches Paranormal Event to support domestic violence survivors. So please go to Facebook, find that Everbright link, and go to it now. This is the time. I really feel we're getting close, and you know, it's not going to be put off. It will happen. It's going to happen. So
you will be sadly disappointed if you miss out on all the fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you were saying before, we need to start selling tickets to the event. So if you're thinking about going, we need to, you know, we definitely need you to, you know, buy tickets as soon as possible. Just because we have people coming in from out of town, and we need to make sure we have enough tickets sold to
and as far as supplies, we want to be sure we have an accurate head count and all that. So, because we don't want to have to be running back and forth to the store 50 times to be grabbing stuff. We want to be able to hang out with you guys, you know? So
yeah, I know I might, when I do events for the cabin, public events, a lot of times people will wait until the last minute, a week before, to buy tickets. I'm just asking that we don't do that this time, because, you know, it is yeah, we definitely need to know to have a head count of who's going to be here and stuff like that, because of logistics and stuff like that. So
you're with a great group of people. This is an amazing group that's been assembled, and we all have a little bit to offer, share, communicate with, and talk and show. So right here with Ryan, Sorry, pointed the other way. There.
I did that the other day. Yeah.
And with all of us, hey, that's not fair. You did that really well.
I feel like we're the Brady Bunch right now.
I used to have to direct traffic, remember?
We're like the Brady Bunch of the paranormal right now.
Yeah, right now. Ryan boy. So I want to thank all of you for coming on tonight. I want to thank Tracy Ann and everybody that's going to be a part of this event for putting in the effort to wanting to help and shed light on this very sensitive subject, because now you're not going to ascend, you're not going to transcend unless either you forgive, you grow, or you accept.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you all tonight. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Travelers. Thank you so much. Go to Everbright. Get your ticket.
Buy your ticket. Buy your ticket.
Is it Everbright or Eventbrite?
I think it's Eventbrite.
Did I say Everbright?
You said Everbright.
Oh, look.
They can go to Everbright if they want to, but I don't think they're going to go.
That's not going to work.
That guy said Everbright.
Everbright.
I can't find the tickets. Everbright.
I put heads in. Tiny.
Howie has a new nickname, Everbright.
Everbright.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Everbright.
Howie Everbright, Odell.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's a new one. We got to use that.
Everbright.
It's on now.
That's right.
But thank you all so much. Ryan, we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Gwen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will see you next Sunday with another group that will be talking about another special event. And we'll let that out. Next week, we're going to be talking to FPRI about the event coming up as well. That's right. Rhonda, who is a member of FPRI, we get to talk to her boss. And
that's right.
There, and we're going to do some chit-chatting about that. So until then, travelers,
that's right.
Thank you so much. Make sure to help another traveler out if they fall. Let's continue to help each other get up. Make sure we surf this right, and may virtue be yours.
Be good humans this week.
Thank y'all. Bye. Take care.
Everbright.